Mr. Ishala. Today on our econometric series, looking at the scope and uses of econometrics. About the scope of econometrics, we'll be discussing the classification of econometrics, and we'll be talking about the subject of study of econometrics, or what the study or analysis on econometrics, what it encompasses. I'll be starting from the classification of econometrics. Econometrics has been classified into two major groups. We have a theoretical econometrics and applied econometrics. The same way we have theoretical econometrics and applied econometrics, we have theoretical econometricians and we have applied econometricians. Now, when talking about theoretical econometrics, or you're talking about theoretical econometrics and theoretical econometricians, we're talking about the aspect of econometrics that is concerned with the development of the techniques of econometrics analysis. The concern of the theoretical econometricians is to develop new techniques of analysis in econometrics, and in addition, they tend to identify the basic assumptions and the properties of the techniques of analysis in econometrics, and they are the ones that actually make us, they tend to look at what happens when certain assumptions of an econometrics method of analysis is not fulfilled. Let's take the OLS, ordinary least square method. Let's take this for instance. There's some certain assumptions of the ordinary least square method of the linear of the regression analysis. Now, if these assumptions, if they are not met, now these theoretical econometrics help us to know the implications when these assumptions are not met. In other words, to get it very simple, what the theoretical econometricians is concerned with is what is the techniques of what econometrics analysis. The techniques of econometrics analysis. This is the concern of the theoretical econometrics. Now, applied econometrics endeavor to make use of these techniques of econometrics analysis in what? In analyzing econometrics, in analyzing economic relationship. That is, the applied econometricians apply these techniques developed by the theoretical econometrics to provide real-world solutions to solve economical problems. That's what applied econometricians is concerned about. Now, it is also important for us to understand that the distinction between theoretical and applied econometrics is not a very clear one, in the sense that the applied econometricians in their field, sometimes they develop techniques that are specific to what they are studying. That is, there have been occasions whereby the applied econometricians also stumbles and develop new techniques or modify already developed techniques, or in fact develop new assumptions that is needed for the justifiable uses of the techniques developed by the theoretical econometricians. However, there is a clear distinction for the purpose of studies between theoretical econometrician and applied econometrician, as most of our discussions on this our econometric series will be based on what? Theoretical econometrics. We'll be looking at the techniques they have developed, and we'll be trying to understand these techniques. Now, having understand the classification of what econometrics, now the first part of the scope of econometrics is what the studies of econometrics, what is encompasses. And this has been grouped majorly into what? Micro-econometrics and what? And macro-econometrics. By micro-econometrics is the application of what? Econometrics techniques to microeconomic theories. Theories such as what? Production function. And if you remember our understanding of microeconomics, that is, in microeconomics we study individual economic unit. That is the economic behavior of individual economic unit. So this their behavior, in studying their behavior, some certain theories, hypotheses, and problems are faced by econometrics, and we can apply the techniques of econometrics to each of these microeconomic phenomena. So, and this covers what we call microeconometrics. Then we have the other one, the macroeconometrics. As the macroeconometrics, for knowledge of study of macroeconometrics, economists rather, we study the aggregate economic variables, studying the entire economy, studying problems like unemployment, inflation rate or price instability, talking about problem of what? Economic growth and development, talking about problem of balance of payment. These are macroeconomic issues, and econometrics techniques can be applied into what? This macroeconomic phenomena, and this covers what is called what? Microeconometrics. This one covers what? Macroeconometrics. Now, moving from the scope, we're talking about the uses of what? Econometrics. Why is it important that we mastered what? The techniques of econometrics, and we know when to apply each of these techniques? Why is it of importance? Econometrics has a number of uses, but of importance majorly of the usage of econometrics are: one, description of economic reality, the verification and validation of economic theory, forecasting and prediction of economic reality, and for planning and policy control purposes. Now, I'll be discussing this one after the other. What do you mean by the description of economic reality? So, one of the most important usage of econometrics is as a description of economic reality. Basically, economic theory attempt to describe the relationship between two or more economic variables. Theories like the production function, the demand function, or the theory of demand or production theory. But econometrics describe this theory quantitatively. What am I saying? I'm saying that economic theories only state the qualitative relationship between these variables, never the quantitative relationship. We get it better when we illustrate it. Let's look at the proper quantity demand function. The theory of demand, they basically said that there's an inverse relationship between the quantity demanded and the price of the commodity. That is, the higher the price of the commodity, the lower the quantity of that commodity that's been demanded in the market. Now, we can say that the quantity demand of a commodity is a function of the price of the commodity, the price of the substitute of the commodity, the price of the complement of the commodity, and our disposable income. Now, this is an economic theory. We can represent this economic theory using our techniques we have learned in mathematical economics. I represent as an equation such as this. And from our knowledge of these econometric research stages or methodology, we can turn this to our econometrics model by introducing our error terms. Then, if we estimate our parameters, let's say we get something like this. Now, let's understand this clearly. This is actually stating that there's a form of relationship between this and the quantity of the commodity that is demanded. That is, we can say that this have an influence on the quantity demanded, this have an influence on the quantity demanded, this have an influence. Each of them has an influence on the quantity demanded. But we cannot specifically say that this is the level of influence this have on the quantity demanded. We cannot say that. When we come here, we are just stating this mathematically here, and this is telling us that these are not the only factors that actually affect the quantity demanded. There could be other factors like taste that are not in this model. There could be other factors like family size, population that affect the quantity demanded that are not stated in this model. This is our error term. Now, when we use our techniques of econometrics to analyze these and estimate our parameters, we get something like this. That is, we find the value of our of our beta naught, which is our intercept, the slope of the price, the slope of the price of the substitute, the slope of the price of the complement, and the slope of our disposable income. Now, our intercept is going to be 30. Fine. Now, this now describes this economic theory more explicitly, in the sense that now we know that for every 1 naira increase in price of the commodity, there is an 0.5, or let's say there is a 40% decrease in the quantity of the commodity being demanded. It is not just enough to know that the quantity of the commodity demanded and price has some sort of inverse relationship. It is also important to know the magnitude of this relationship. That is, Our knowledge of econometrics enable us to what? To examine the what? The elasticity or the degree of responsiveness of our quantity demanded to changes in what? In the price of the commodity. Also from here we can see that the price of the substitute of the commodity changes positively with the quantity demanded. That is, the higher the prices of the substitute, the higher the quantity demanded of the commodity. And the lower the prices of the substitute, the lower will be the quantity demanded of this commodity. Now, this is denoted by the what? By the positive sign before the what? The price of the substitute. And this is 0.2, which is the coefficient of the price of the substitute, is stating that for every one increase in the price of the substitute, there's a 0.2 increase in the quantity demanded of that of the commodity. That is, there's a 20% increase in the what? In the quantity demanded of the commodity. Also, if you look at it, this is 0.3 minus 0.3, the coefficient of our what? Price of the complement, shows that at first that there's a what? There is a negative relationship or an inverse relationship between the what? The price of the complement and the quantity of the commodity that is being what? Being consumed. When the price of the complement or to a commodity is increasing, the what? The quantity demanded of that commodity is what? Is decreasing. And by this, it goes further by saying that a 1 naira increase in the price of the substitute will bring about the 0.3 decrease in the quantity demanded of the commodity of concern. That is, it will bring about it will bring about a 30% decrease in the quantity demanded of the commodity of what? Of concern. Now look at the disposable income. The coefficient is what? Is positive is 0.7. That is, the higher the income, the higher the quantity demanded. That is, there's a positive relationship between the what? Our disposable income and our quantity demanded. And it goes further by explaining that a 1 naira increase in our disposable income will bring about an 0.7 increase in the quantity demanded of the commodity. Put in another way, it will bring about a 70% increase in the quantity demanded of this what? Commodity. Now, this is what econometrics does for us. It enables us to what? To describe economic reality, economic relationship in a more quantitative manner, where we are able to examine the magnitude through our techniques of econometrics. We are able to know the what? This is the what? The marginal propensity to consume here. Our marginal propensity to consume here, and we are able to know the what? The degree of responsiveness of what? Of quantity demanded to change in price of the substitute, and the change in what? In the price of the complement. It enables us to what? To examine the what? The marginal effect of all the what? Independent variable on the dependent variable. Another usage of econometrics is is for verification and vindication of economic theory. As we've already estimated our parameters of the econometrics model the other time, but the best point is this parameter we have to test for their reliability. How well can we depend on this estimate? Noting that we are using a sample, and from a sample we want to be able to drive a conclusion or infer something about the entire population. Like, if we collect a different data, what can we say that the price of this commodity will always have a negative influence on the quantity demanded? With the price of the substitute, we always have a positive influence on the quantity demanded. So we have to test for the statistical significance of these parameters. And how do we do that? We use our techniques in mathematical statistics, which is techniques of hypothesis testing, so like chi-square, ANOVA test, T statistics and F statistics. T test, F statistics, we use them to estimate, to check for the statistical significance of these parameters. Now, looking at these our models here, our estimated model here, we see that we have more than one variable in this model. So the best statistical tools, like the most easier one that we use, is we use our what? F statistics. Because F statistics is majorly used when we have more than one independent variable. You take the statistical significance of more than one independent variable on the dependent variable. But we can use our T statistics to test for the what? The statistical significance of the parameter of or the coefficient of price on the quantity demanded individually. That is, we can neglect all this, or we say these are constant while we test for the what statistical significance of this parameter in respect to this, statistical significance of this separately, and this separately. We can use these statistics for that purpose. Now, in our test of on our verification of economic theory, we've already established that we are basically going through what we call hypothesis testing. So there's a need for us to formulate our non-hypothesis as alternate hypothesis, whereby we find our what, our t calculated, and we find our f calculated, in which we be comparing with our t tabulated and f tabulated, using our degree of freedom and the statistical significance of, let's say, majorly you can use 1%, you can use 5 or 10%, but majorly we use 5%. And if our t calculated, if it is greater than our t tabulated, we accept. Well, if our t calculated is greater than our t tabulated, we reject the non-hypothesis and we accept the alternate hypothesis. On the other way around, if our t calculated is less than t tabulated, we accept the non-hypothesis and we reject the alternate hypothesis. You must have it in mind that our non-hypothesis is always a negative hypothesis. It's an hypothesis in which the researcher intends to reject, and it's always said that there is no statistical significance within the parameters of the parameter and the independent variable. While our alternate hypothesis, we state that there is statistical significance. That is about verification and foundation of economic theory. This is very, very important, because on these theories, the verification and the foundation of these theories with the other usage of econometrics build upon. Forecasting and prediction of economic reality is one other usage of econometrics, and this is an applied form of econometrics. After you verify that the estimated parameter is statistically significant, then you can now use that parameter estimated in a model to forecast and predict an economic reality. Take, for instance, I'm interested in forecasting or predicting the quantity demanded for the next year. Then the present experience or the present data we're having is that the price of the commodity is 10 naira, the price of the substitute is 10 naira, the price of the complement 10 naira, and our disposable income being 1,000 naira. Then what is going to be the quantity demanded? Now all we simply do is we substitute the value of this price into this equation here. When we substitute it, we discover that what we get, our quantity demanded, is 740. And what does that imply? That implies that given the present data, or as to in respect to the price of the substitute, the price of the complement, and our disposable income, we can forecast and predict our quantity demanded. So that is simply the explanation for the forecasting and prediction uses of econometrics. Now, one final usage of econometrics is control and policy purpose. What does this imply? After our model has been verified, we can always also use it to control or make policies that regulate the economy. And what does this imply? This what is saying. Given this, let's say we discover that if our quantity demanded is 5,000, then the economy will operate at full employment. That is, our unemployment rate will be at the barest minimum. There won't be unemployment problem. So now the country, the economy, or the economists within the economy will now attempt to look at what price, or what does the price has to be, or what does the price of the substitute, price of the complement, or majorly at what disposable income level will our quantity demanded be at 5,000. So let's say we working with the same thing, and we have our price as 10, our price of substitute as 10, price of complement as 10. Now what level of disposable income do we need to make our quantity demanded 5,000? If you substitute 10 into this, we have this will be 40, this will be 50, this will be 50, this will be 40. We have 40. which means for our disposable for our quantity demanded to be 5,000, then our disposable income should be such that 0.7 yd equals to 4,960. So all we simply do, if you divide all through by 0.7, so you get the disposable income that you need for this quantity demanded to be what, 5,000. And as a result, policies that will put our disposable income in that price, we can increase the income so that we have our quantity demanded equals to what, 5,000. That is for control and for policy purposes. To get it more clearly, for control and policy purposes, we're having a figure of this and we are looking for what this independent variable, which of them we can increase or control the economy so that for us to attain a certain level of quantity demanded. And by this we come to the end of discussion on the scope of econometrics and its uses. Thank you for watching. Our econometrics series still continues. If you are new, try subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. Also engage us at our comment section with so many econometric questions that you are facing, find difficult. It will be my prayer to solve these questions and explain them explicitly here on Progressive Learning class. Thank you.